um, apologize, but she says I can't move past this thing here for the sake of the people online. If there is anybody online, I don't know if there is.
There is.
Okay, good. As tradition for these marketing excellence roundtables, we always go around. Remember, we're all making friends with each other. We always go around with a quick introduction. So we have, I don't know, 20 people here or so it can't be too long, but I'll start off. I'm Rand. I first knew about ISBM as the DuPont liaison back in 2009. And I faithfully attended every ISBM event that there was. I probably didn't miss one until I left in 2015. And then I fully retired from the corporate world in 2017 and came on with ISBM then. Been there ever since. So it's been great to kind of continue the corporate involvement with different companies and what I learned there and been able to bring that into ISBM and see what's going on with you guys. It's been awesome. So we can start. Katrina?
Yeah, so Katrina Honey. I'm the marketing director for the Marmot Construction Fastener Group, which is a division of Marmot Holdings, which owns 100 plus different B2B companies, which is in turn owned by Berkshire Hathaway. So a lot of corporate structure, but the individual businesses themselves owned by Marmot are small. So we're kind of in this weird in between of working very closely with smaller companies than having this big corporate structure behind it. This is my second year here. Came last year when Marmot Holdings hosted and joined as a member, and it's been really great. This is a resource as we really try to transform all of these, small industrial companies who maybe have never had a marketing resource before ever.
Yeah. Thanks.
And we're going to pass this. Oh. Okay, we're going to try this.
Hello, I'm Ron Strong. I'm the product director for Dresser Utility Solutions. We are a manufacturing company for utilities. I'm the product director for the. You broke it.
Is it okay?
Okay.
Ron, you're saying.
Okay, we're back. I'm the product director for the measurement business. We primarily make again, manufacturing products. We are delving into some technology aspects, and we make the gas meters for the distribution network. I first attended ISBM a dozen years ago or so with the marketing boot camp and have worked with ISBM on and off throughout that time.
Yeah, I'm John Biggs. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer for Dresser Utility Solutions. We're a private equity backed business. We've got 4 operating units. Ron runs one of those. That's our meters business. We manufacture meters, valves, pipeline couplings, a bunch of other stuff for gas and water utilities. We joined ISBM first, I think, 2008. Did some really intense on-site marketing boot camp type training. Loved it. We left for a little while GE owned us and did their best to mess us up. And then we carved out of GE in 2018 and immediately came back. So this is it's been a good time for us, and we're really happy to be here.
Hi again. I know I've introduced myself already. I bored you with who we are. So Megan DiStefano, Ingredion. We do food ingredients. Yes. Just briefly on my role, I support on marketing excellence, but also lead our strategic marketers that work for the global business units in our specialties businesses.
Good to see everybody. My name is Ralph Cummins. I am the president and managing director of EMM Group. I'm also a practice fellow at ISBM. And in my path with ISBM, always happy to be here. Met so many great people through this organization. And my path exactly follows Rand's path, because a month after I joined EMM, after I spent 5 or 6 years running a global brand for General Financial, we were introduced to DuPont. And I remember it's August of 2009. And shortly after I met Rand, he introduced us to Ralph and Liam. Well, Liam's around here somewhere. And so began our journey with DuPont and with ISBM on the program that Rand ran for 7 years. And I was the outside consultant. It's on Megan and so many other people. So anyway, flash forward to whatever, 14 years later, and I'm a fellow at ISBM and still doing a lot of the same things. So very excited to be here, and thanks for the opportunity.
Hi, I'm Jerry Katz from Applied Marketing Science in Boston. I guess I started coming to ISBM meetings 15 to 20 years ago and have been teaching voice of the customer for ISBM almost ever since. By far the best professional meetings of any society I've ever belonged to.
Hi, yeah, I introduced myself briefly earlier today, and my name is Stefan Waerts. I'm the director at the academic side of the ISBM. I joined Penn State in 2018, so it's about a bit more than 5 years ago. But I was involved in the ISBM network since I started my PhD in marketing back in 1998. I've always been studying business-to-business markets, mostly from an inter-organizational relationships and innovation points of view. I'm very interested in marketing and technology. So this was a really very interesting time that I had here. That's about it. So thank you for being here, and it's a pleasure that I can join you.
Hi, my name's Corey Cottrell. I'm the manager for our technical solutions team at Swagelok. Swagelok is in the analytical instrumentation business, so valves, fittings, regulators. Historically been a product company. We're all on the technical solutions team, so we're more responsible for the non-product stuff. So taking product, turning it into solutions, or expanding the capabilities of our sales channel, whatever that may mean for where they are as kind of like an organization and the maturity of that network. We were involved with ISBM years ago. So we had a marketing VP who has since left the organization, but got us involved with ISBM. I was in marketing at that time and went through the marketing boot camp. And now Dan and Jeff, who will introduce themselves, have been making a push to get some more marketing competency, marketing training back into the organization. We have a lot of fresh faces, and we recently hired a new VP of marketing who started maybe last week. So it's a great time at Swagelok right now to come in and try some new things.
All right, and I guess to build on what Corey said, working on his team, I lead the application solutions group. So it's basically product lines that involve more than a single product. So assemblies of valves, fittings, tubing, and we really focus on commercializing services and technical expertise around those product lines to our customers globally. So spend a lot of time with our customers overseas as well as here in the US, continuing to change that reputation of Swagelok.
To round it out, my name's Jeff DeWitt, and very grateful to be here. Thank you for having us. And yeah, I think these guys said it well.
I'm Tom Hartle. I'm with Sherwin-Williams. I'm the Senior Director for Product Marketing and Innovation in our B2B businesses. I'm happy to be part of the Cleveland row here. So I joined ISBM with Sherwin-Williams probably in late 2019 when I joined that company, and it's been super valuable. I've attended the meetings. We've had a bunch of classes that came from ISBM affiliates, and also tapped into Rand for introductions to subject matter experts when we were diving into all kinds of different things, from marketing to pricing to intellectual property. So happy to be here. Thanks.
Hello, I am Carrie Chunko from the Eastman Chemical Company, and I am in our Marketing Center of Excellence. I only became a part of ISBM when I joined Eastman, and I actually went through the mastery track, so I'm familiar on the courses and everything, and it was a really good experience. And yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot here, so I'm glad to be here.
Hey everyone, my name is Gabby Ellington. Similarly to Carrie's introduction, I work at Eastman as a marketing excellence manager in our marketing center of excellence, which is somewhat newly formed over the past year and a half, 2 years. And so our team is really working to steward marketing at Eastman and increase sort of that flexibility and that muscle and build some capability there. So happy to be here. I learned a lot from ISBM. Carrie and I, as she said, both did the mastery track. So just continuing to build on that learning.
I'm Laura Patterson, and I'm the president of Vision Edge Marketing. We're a 25-year-old growth strategy firm. And I've been a part of ISBM a really long time. I was brought in early on by Ralph Oliva. I'm honored to be a practice fellow, and Ralph and I go way back to our semiconductor days when he was at TI, and I was competing fiercely with him at Motorola. So now we're friends. So our company really focuses on how to help our customers take a more customer-centric, measurable, process-oriented approach to growth, and to do that based on data-driven insights. So that's what we're doing, and really excited to be continuing to be a part of ISBM.
We also, it's great to have some people who are joining us virtually too. So let's have the.
Chuck?
Is that Chuck Warner? Okay, Chuck.
We don't have Chuck. How about Jenna?
Jenna was here earlier.
Oh, she dropped in one.
Jenna Blankenship.
And we have Veronica.
Okay, Veronica. Are they not? Maybe
Are they
they're.
able to unmute?
Are they there? Are they on? Maybe not. Maybe stepped away.
They must have went.
Okay.
I can't tell.
Well, let's keep trying.
Yeah. Nick, are you available? I don't know if they're unable to mute.
Big chat if not. Okay, well, we'll get started anyway. Stefan, by the way, I did want to say, great job today presenting. I always love hearing that, what you guys do to support, the academic side going forward. It's pretty inspiring. Knowing that, that you guys are investing in ISBM in a way that is advancing the whole science of B2B in a very altruistic way. I can't think of, a better way to spend our funds than what you guys are doing. So that's great. Let's see, we wanted to sort of kick things off here. We have a few topics. Let me say this first. This roundtable has been around for a long time. It's our most popular roundtable. It's the part of the meeting that I used to look forward to more than anything else for every event I went to. And of course, I was in a role kind of like you guys at Eastman, where I had responsibility. That was my job, was to drive marketing excellence across the company. I was in a center of excellence. Most of our member firms didn't have that type of a role. So they had to do people like you all who are in marketing roles, marketing leader roles, et cetera, and you have a strong interest in driving marketing excellence across your company. That's what I heard from all of you as well. And that's what's always made up the roundtable. So we've always brought in topics that are relevant to driving marketing and innovation capability. It's not about teaching you about a best practice like our member conference tends to be, showing you a best practice. Well, I guess it is, because it's about teaching you best practices that will drive capability in your companies, and that's what the topics are today as well. We're going to start off with an expert-led discussion to sort of debrief from the last day and a half, but we're going to take it down to, okay, what's the implications on driving marketing capability inside our groups, inside our companies, with our peers? What's the implications that we've heard about AI on that topic? And Ralph Cummins is going to lead that. We're going to change the order a little bit because I'm going to jump next into a very important subject here. I want to get some feedback on a new offering, question mark from ISBM for 2024. It's called Propolis, and I'll describe what that is. And then since we kind of previewed the curricula yesterday a little bit, we're going to close with that again, just a little bit more of a preview on the curricula, get your feedback, and that will be the end of the day. Ignore those timeframes. Those were old. For those on Zoom, the same rules as before. This roundtable will be recorded. The slides will be available along with the rest of the slides for the conference at least by next week. And if any of you need to make any, want to make any introduction or want to meet any of the experts or meet each other or have a follow-up discussion with somebody, you can always go through me or Lynn or Lori, and we'll make that connection for you. Okay, Ralph, I think I have your slides up here. So
Do I need to go over there or can I stay here?
You can stay there.
All right, I need to qualify something here.
You won't be seen by the people on the screen unless you come up here.
Do I leave this here or bring it?
You can bring it. Yeah. In the meantime, I'm going to hand out some feedback forms about the curriculum through the course of the next hour or so. Fill those out.
Right, the fact that my name, expert-led, and AI are on the same slide makes me really nervous right off the bat. Okay, so let's get some clarity about a couple things here, right? I could argue for expertise in certain areas, I suppose, but I am no more expert on what we just spent the last day and a half talking about than anybody else in this room. So that qualifies expert-led. And by the way, I sometimes forget to introduce actually what I do. I just kind of said I follow Rand around. It's not totally true. EMM is a strategic marketing firm. We call ourselves a marketing excellence firm. That goes all the way back to our founding by Procter & Gamble and Accenture 25 years. It's for a different day. But we work closely with ISBM and deliver a lot of custom marketing excellence programs to the different members. My personal passion is strategy. So hence, AI is not exactly, my main focus, but I tell you, I don't know about everybody else. I found I guess it exceeded my expectations because I don't know about you guys, but it brought AI home to me in a much more relevant way. And I think it's good because I was actually able to see things that I could do and take action on based on what we discussed here. But it also provoked many puzzling questions, feeling like you can actually do a few things with what you learn, but also that you have a lot more to learn. And obviously there's a lot more to learn here. Before we start, I wouldn't mind going around the room. Can I go around the room? I would just love to know, it was such a wide range of topics. Like, anybody care to share something that you took away from this, like that kind of popped to the top of your radar in terms of something that was very interesting and maybe very actionable for you as a marketer or a leader? Anybody have something that, Jerry?
For me, it was the privacy issues. I had not thought about that very deeply, but that turns out to be a big issue for everybody, and now I understand why.
Yeah, and that came up a couple times today too. I agree with you. I think in the back of my mind, I knew it was an issue, but it really came to the forefront today. Yeah, Dan.
I was just going to share the thought for me was around the virtual ideation session, like the digital ideation, so scraping the internet and then creating those personas based on what it finds, and then we're going to have a conversation with ideas.
Interesting. So you ready to go back and scrape the internet?
I'm hoping I don't have to do it myself. Okay.
I love my visual when people say scrape the internet. It's always kind of, it's like, wow, that's a pretty big thing to scrape. So, Megan.
So at Ingredion, like I said, we actually do have a big cross-functional team on AI. But I think we call it digital transformation. And I think the aha for me was, those are big projects, right? Those are like, where are we gonna make really big bets, right? Company changing. But there's also this imperative for marketing just to just go a little bit, like, and I think we need some guidelines and some basic training on, like, how do we go? What do we, let's go do some SEO based on AI, let's go do these things. But we need a little bit of training, even for the folks that are very digitally savvy, on AI specifically. And I think from a company perspective, we do have a guideline, which is, yes, you can use ChatGPT, but don't put anything confidential in. But now we're gonna need to put some confidential stuff in. So like, what's my resource to do that? Can I download it? What do I download? I have no idea where we're supposed to start.
And Megan, if I can ask you a question on that, like, what do you picture the next step in your training? Like, can you help me unpack that?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be.
How to push the buttons and put stuff in and get the file?
Like literally, well, I mean, I know as a prompt engineer, I've learned that this week. But like, literally, what tool am I supposed to use? And is it gonna be the same tool for anyone that uses it? And are we allowed to download it? I mean, like, I need some, yeah, I really need some basic start here.
Getting started one-on-one.
Yes.
Like, how do I start?
Do you feel like you need that, or do you have it already?
No.
By the way,
Yes and no.
somebody gonna take notes. I had a whiteboard at the up there writing.
Yeah.
Somebody I will capture some of these notes because like there could be some interesting ideas that come out of it. So I can relate to what you're saying because I had this like urge. I don't know about everybody else. I was like writing down notes like we should do this, we should do that, like we should get in the game more. I mean, not that we're not, we're actually doing stuff already, but more, right? There's more you can do because it's happening, right? All around us. But then I'm also asking like, eventually we're gonna be able to do ABC, and that's gonna be incredibly hard and take forever to do. So there are all these perplexing things that are gonna take a lot of thought, but there's some other things where you want to jump to action. I have the exact same reaction. Very interesting. Yes.
I got thoughts. So like one of the, I think the first presentation really stuck with me. He had a slide that said, everyone is a developer. And honest to God, that is probably the single biggest change that we're gonna see probably in our lifetime. Think about how historically there's been a high cost of entry. Do anything coding, you know, learn language, you got to do all this stuff. And now as long as you can speak English or any of the 120 languages and put coherent thoughts together and prompt a system, you can derive an output. I just think about how that unlocks 95% of the brain power that you have in a company, and how to put that skill and power in those people's hands is like the company that really not just figures out how to deploy AI, but how to put it in every single associate's hands. That's like the real, that's like the foot on the accelerator.
Right. And that's one of those challenges that gives me a headache thinking about how do you do that? I can think about how to do it in a small company, right? If you can afford it, but the question is a big company. How do you do that? Interesting, good provocation. Other people think, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think I shared the last couple of comments. And the other thing that kind of hit me was that we locked it down with ChatGPT. We've got a SWAT team that's, or a task force or some sort of aggressive sounding team that's looking at AI, but it is mostly IT driven. And like I think we need to wake up to our broader marketing organization the possibilities of getting people flavoring and building up like demand and like I want pitchforks and
you locked it down, like shut it off.
It is shut off except for the aggressive.
That's a good point. And actually links to what Steve said. The one thing I remember yesterday, I can't remember, everything blurs together for me, was, it was the idea that, look, almost every function uses language. So, this is not just exclusively something that is language, that's perhaps marketing or whatever, rather you can apply this idea to anything in the company that uses language, and then which begs the question, is any part of the company not use language, which is that. So you use it in a lot of places and broadly, right? Yeah, I think that's a big question is for a lot of companies is what's the starting point to adopt and then to roll out through the organization to get the best manageable use, right? There's a lot of downsides, as we all heard. It's a lot of risk. Who was it? What company already said that what Bob was talking about at Nestle. Like they're like, or was it Mars? They're like, you know, they can't even touch the stuff, right? You know, don't even go on there for fear of lawsuit. So very interesting. Other people, other aha moments out there. Anybody? Yes, Stefan.
Apart from the fact that NDA students are outperformed by AI, I think the iOS is a black box. And many models, like very effective regressive models or other advanced prediction models, they predict well, but we don't really know why. And it doesn't matter because we're only interested in the accuracy of prediction. In the very last presentation, we actually heard it's not enough to consider this a black box. You need to really look inside, what's in that box. Why is it that customers are unhappy? And that they require some human involvement. Maybe AI can take care of it. But for me, on the inside, it doesn't need to be black box. Because otherwise, I don't think you can really learn from accept predicting better.
Yeah, it's interesting that, so you're really talking about what Richard was talking about earlier today, right? And, you know, those of you who have been around NPS for a while, one of the biggest criticism of NPS in the community was that it was kind of this blunt, it was kind of this dumb measure. And the way NPS is done, it just tells you, you know, gives you a relative score, but it doesn't dig into the underlying cause. And it's quite clear that Richard, who's a real expert in this, has gone on in his career to try to solve that problem, right? And he listed it as one of his 7 conditions there at the end, which is trying to get to what's underneath the score. And I wanted to ask him about his, by the way, that very same issue about the new models he's working on, which is I still don't see how generative AI answers the question of why, right? Because it's, you know, it's going to be really good at analyzing behavior, and we're really good at capturing behaviors in data models. But when you go in and look at the data of clients, and I looked at big, little admission here. I left, Anderson says, I left EMM and ran a customer experience practice for a big technology firm for 2 years. I did that quite intentionally, and I came back, and it was a real eye-opening experience for me. And I got to see really deep data models and stuff that the company I worked for was building for other big companies like Bank of America, people like that. And even people with good data, we're good at the behavioral part, right? Because think almost everything, if you buy something, if you make a phone call, if you ask for a quote, everything a customer can do, that's a behavior. But humans are very poor at that moment asking why they behaved the way they did, good or bad, right? And even when you apply a lot of the survey techniques to that point of the touch, you know, like a Qualtrics kind of thing, it often asks, you know, good, bad, or otherwise, positive or negative. But rarely can you answer why. So I'm still trying to figure out how AI gets at the why, because you need to understand the why in order to actually prescribe the right. You can reach a lot of wrong, false conclusions around why something happened without understanding what it is you're doing wrong. And it's clear that in Richard's model, they're seeking to do a better job answering that. But I don't see how you predict the future if you can't predict the why that will drive that future. Does that make sense? So I was still scratching my head on that. And I'm fascinated to find out, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the next dinosaur that's going to go down and get rolled over, you know. Jared.
I think the answer to that, and for me, this was not surprising, but reassuring. We're not all about to lose our jobs. Almost every speaker here talked about the fact that human beings are still needed to prompt correctly and interpret and ask the why question. And so I wasn't surprised, but I was reassured that everyone has still concluded that.
Right. Interesting. Other people, other reactions, looking further back. Oh, yes.
So one of the things that was interesting as talked to one of the guys from after, he was talking about, like, you know, generating code and being able to do that. He said the code that it generates, if you use this, is pretty mediocre. He said on the flip side, it's kind of like a mediocre pizza. It's still pretty good, you know. So it's one of those things that you get a certain level of knowledge. But I think the human interaction to take it to the next level is probably still needed for the foreseeable future.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a really good philosophical question. I don't see. Well, I like what Richard said, which is I like decision making, right? I mean, and that's the way I see it right now. I actually enjoyed the last part of that, his presentation about that. You know, you're really thinking clearly. You know, we've been trying to, in our different practices, teach people to make good decisions with bad information. I mean, that is often the challenge you have, right?
Right, but what you're
Maybe
saying
you
is,
got-
it's a tool, not a solution.
Correct. Yes, yes, Laura.
I like a lot of the presentations. I think it would have been fun if one or two of the presentations just opened up. One of the, whether it's Bard or ChatGPT, put in a couple of pre-planned, not so like spur of the moment, things in there so we could kind of see it play out. Like, I love that, and you did a great job. Or Bob did a great job. Here's one way you can do the prompt. But if you get the prompts better that look like this is what you get. And then all of us have computers. Open up your computer, turn on chat, turn on Bard, put in a prompt. I think having a chance to experience, this is a topic we couldn't have a chance to experience and look at a little bit. I think that would have been, for lack of a better word, fun. No, that's so difficult, but as an example, and learning how, and then adding on to that, the tools link together. So doing something with Bard and the chat and then running over to Midjourney and then running that over to somewhere else. And then we're really getting back to this talent management and the comment about we all need to get better at this. That's a key part of our ability to be successful going forward in our careers. Is seeing how those different tools work and play together. And I think that those are just my couple of observations.
Thank you. By the way, is there anybody online that has anything going on? I don't know how to prompt the folks that are online. Okay.
They haven't texted anything in the box.
Okay. All right. I didn't want to ignore that. They're there. So let me ask you this. On the flip side of things, when you think about what we talked about and learned about, and you think about your organization, right? What are your big concerns? Like, what are your worries? You know, because obviously, you know, there's a little bit of a sense of urgency that comes from sitting through something like this for a day and a half. What worries or concerns do people have about how this new, you know, obviously could be, you know, Stephen said the biggest thing to happen. I'm older than you, so I'm not sure. You know, I was here before there was computers. That was a big one. You know, I remember email. Sending the first email from LA to New York and video advertising, that was a big moment, but this may be bigger. So, yeah, Liam.
I'm all about
The age of data scientists, right?
Not everybody's essentially more.
They broke themselves right out of existence, right?
I'm invited tomorrow to see current use of interviews, government operations, CIA. Fascinating to see what the state of the art is.
Maybe you'll find out that they have aliens that have been doing AI for a while.
I suspect that some of them are much harder than that.
Interesting, right?
Third observation. I can't imagine somebody thinking a single farmer market.
Right. How do we know there are any that aren't? Find out. You know, as of It'd be interesting to go and look at, so CMO, CMO Summit, or no, the CMO organization, what,
CMO Council.
Yeah, they do the survey every year. And for years now, they've been asking CMOs about different trends, right? And up until the last time I looked at it last year, the interest in AI was still fairly low. Like, you know, kind of like, yeah, we know it's coming, but we'll adopt it when it gets here. I wonder what it looks like today.
So there is a new CMO survey that came out this fall. I just saw it during this event actually. Chris Morman, professor at Duke University, is the one who runs that every half a year. And 50% of the CMOs that responded to that survey, there could be a sample selection there between 2 and 50 respondents, I think. But 50% say that they use AI in content personalization and content creation, like blogs and websites. And it goes down to about 30% or so when it's in more automating advertising and these kind of services. So if you want to know what the most recent insight is, go to CMO survey, just available there. Got a report from this fall.
Carrie, you had a comment.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about things that you were worried about, and I think the biggest concerns me the most is governance. Because, I mean, we talked about this a lot, but it's stuff like, how do you prevent someone going to ChatGPT and putting a formulation and then losing your copyright, losing your patent? And yeah, just the governance around that.
Yeah, that's a head scratcher. I mean, that's a head scratcher for all of us, right? So the copyright issue, but also, I mean, just the security issue, the inadvertent, you know, and innocent, almost innocent release of IP and the ability to protect that, right? So that's one that, and the one that's going to, I think, get bigger, faster. We've been talking about this, is current rights holders to images, words, whatever, recognizing the source of large language models and all, and then making more and more claims, patent right infringement claims. I mean, it's already happening, but it's going to be, it's almost undeniable because the models themselves say that basically they're trying to displaying that they can be liable by essentially saying, if you use information that you pull from the model, it's not copyrighted. But people are still going to do it and use it, and it's going to run up against infringement, probably in a pretty large way.
Ralph, I can remember in these conferences before to have a similar conversation about topics that are of concern to the members. Frequently, Me Too copyright products from China come and you don't hear that much anymore because the world has changed somewhat in regards to everybody's presence and posture in China. But when you think about this AI problem, outside of the business world, I'm very concerned about misinformation, disinformation, that kind of stuff. So you take that back into our world and think about how bad actors, bad competitors can utilize the power of AI, not only to, not to find things that we accidentally put onto ChatGPT, but to actually find things that we think are protected, and they deviated ways to identify that stuff, and then how they can use artificial intelligence for video imaging and copyright infringement and all that stuff in countries where it's not policed, and that whole problem of counterfeit comes back in a different way to bite us.
Right. Interesting. Any other concerns that pop to mind for folks?
Yeah, I think one concern that even as we start to just play around with it, it's still so new, you know, garbage in, garbage out, like people not having training on it. And I've clearly like seen things where like, oh, you put this into ChatGPT, it's spat out some copy and you didn't even read it, you just like hit submit, you know? And I think that human element is still necessary. Like, this isn't going to totally replace you doing the work. You're still the, you know, the expert on the topic. But I don't it being a shortcut to maybe not doing work versus an efficiency thing is stressful.
Yeah, I mean, I think the applications to use it as a tool and aid to either help you do things faster or a little bit more accuracy, more clear, you know, get your hands on more information faster. All those things are crystal clear, probably be managed reasonably well, but everything beyond that is very gray, very difficult to wrap your head around. Carrie, do you have another, or some, or Dabby?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've been thinking for a little bit of the combination of work from home and availability of AI and our ability to use it as some of the supercomputer stuff. Just the possibility of I could program an AI system to maybe have in my role. For example, if my daily tasks take longer, and I can work from home. So by seeing it in offense, are there certain workouts or jobs and ones using AI?
That's interesting. Basically, you're able to create an AI copy of yours, clone of yourself. Right.
Because if, I mean, you can feed it data, you know, here's all the emails that I've sent my X amount of years. This is what I sound like, this is how I talk, here's my voice. Can I mimic that and work?
Well, that's actually happening, maybe not even before AI.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the emails, you're getting those AI generated emails anyway as a consumer, so, you know, it'll be funny at the office, is that you know, Gabby, or is that Gabby? So, whatever they call it.
No, but there
AI Gabby.
are cases of there's a lot of cases of people holding down 2 full-time jobs because of the work at home thing.
Right.
Yeah, there was a case stuff I really ranked in the 11 jobs.
Yeah.
Well, since January 27th, 1984, when Apple launched the Mac on the Super Bowl, they've been, you know, everything we're talking about that started promising the efficiency of the future, and it's all going to make us more productive, and we're all going to retire early, and we're going to have all this free time, and the exact opposite of that has transpired. We're all busier than ever. And whatever we've gained in personal efficiency has been more than sucked back by the desire for more productivity. So, you know, I'm hoping I can do just not work as hard. I'm forgetting working 2 jobs. All right, I have a concern. I'll share one. This is not meant to be a philosophical discussion on AI. I'll turn the corner to the real topic in a minute. But so I'm a strategist. And I'm a huge believer in insights. And I came by that honestly, but I also came by it objectively because it's been proven over the course of my career that the greatest driver of marketing excellence and marketing return on investment is a unique insight on the market that you're serving, right? The greatest brands in the world, without any question about it, are all founded on some great insight about the marketplace. And they continue to invest in that over and over and over again. So a lot of people believe that, I believe that. But in a weird way, what that feels a bit threatened, because what this says is that with AI, everybody has the ability to understand everything, right? If it's out there. So if the models get perfected, you know, me and my competitors can ask the same questions about a market, and we'll all get the same information back, right? So 2 things could happen there. One, it could inadvertently drive more commoditization than intended. Or 2, it would be an incentive for every organization to not be kind of open to the world about ideas and collaborative, but actually shut down the enterprise and jealously guard all knowledge and secrets within that company, right? There's been a trend towards more sharing and more open collaboration and more generating more ideas internally to your company. But if all of a sudden your ability to uniquely understand the needs of your customers at a higher level than your competitors is threatened, what would be the natural reaction? And that to me is a really significant potential downside to this, right? When you stop and think about it, that could cause some really different behaviors than we've ever had before, right? And
It could also make where we spend all our brain power today doing easier to do, become just table stakes. And now we elevate our brain power. We utilize our brain power to elevate it to more important things.
Or maybe to think more deeply about the situation, perhaps, right? By getting you past table stakes faster.
Yeah, I mean,
it could go either way. Yeah, that was bothering the whole time too, thinking about how, because that's something we all want to do, right? That's what we all try to do with our enterprises. So
I think there's great differentiation potential though in the solution, right? Like the insight is where the opportunity is perhaps, but like I don't think we can rely on AI to point us to, okay, this is how you solve that for the customer.
I agree with you on that, but I'm not sure that everybody presenting up here agrees that that's going to be, but I would agree on that. I would hope so. But in an ideal way, I mean, what do we, obviously we've always said great marketing is the ability to have unique insight in the marketplace, then to ideate against that insight and create a proper solution. Right? So those two things could be enhanced, to your point, allowing us to use our human brain and our creativity for higher order activities, or it could be threatened. And I don't know, interesting. Jerry.
Just one more, I was gonna say deep thought, probably not so deep.
Well, they called me an expert, so you can have deep thoughts.
Does anybody remember, it's kind of faded from view, but there was a technique called TRIZ, T-R-I-Z.
Yes.
It was a Russian-built formula. The underlying theory was somebody somewhere has solved this problem before. And it was some kind of a formula that would search through patent libraries to find solutions to some technical problem. And it always found stuff. The problem was taking it that last step of, now how can I apply that piece of knowledge to solve my particular problem here? And it didn't always get that far, but that's a very consistent with what you just said.
Interesting. Grant.
I'm just going to move the slide ahead.
Oh, I thought you had your hand up. So I just want to sort of wrap this up and move on to a discussion about kind of where you're thinking about going from here with something today. So I go back to that one. Go back the other way. So what are you doing? You're going the wrong direction.
The one that said sexy ale.
You went all the way through.
Hold on. Trying to move you along.
I know, you were right, you went way past, there's only 3 slides, number, there, 8, okay. So, that's it. All right, so I ate the dog food a little bit, right? And I asked ChatGPT what were the most common applications of large language models and generative AI in marketing, right? And give me an example, right? And so there's nothing on there, personalized recommendations, chatbots, virtual systems, predictive analytics, content creation, social media, voice search. I mean, these are all things, there's nothing new here, right? This stuff is mainstream, right? So, we're not talking about AI, the application of AI in the future, or something that's coming to us. It's something that's been happening for a while. It's all around us, but there's a theme to the applications that are quite clear, right? The early applications of this primarily are in the area of personalization. I mean, you could kind of sum it up there to some extent. So then I said, well, what about the really sexy, cutting edge applications of generative AI in a marketing context and large language models? And we go here, and so it was Coca-Cola and its AI-powered vending machines, how AI is helping Adidas boost its personalized email marketing game, how Sephora is doing personalized, online personalized, recommendations for people. Starbucks and the magic of AI, enhancing coffee to the customer. I'm not sure what that was about, other than there was another one that said Starbucks is going to use AI to improve the human condition. That did feel large and cutting edge, but I didn't bother with that one. But my point is this, that, so when I was looking for, like, where's kind of the breakthrough stuff going on? And this is not to make light of anything. Everything that the AI tells us breaking edge is big companies, lots of money, kind of doing the same thing on the mainstream applications on a grander scale. A lot of personalization using large data to understand and to machine learning to understand what you want or somebody wants and deploy it at different points and largely in the consumer buying experience, right? Nothing wrong with that, but I didn't find anything that inspired me about how to talk about this in this room, right? This group of people who are not dealing with the same exact types of problems, right? So I just pointed this out. I went looking for a little help from the machine to think about what we should be talking about as we think about going forward. And it just begged a lot of questions. So if we go to the next one, and this is where we want to go. I mean, I'm curious and we're curious as we think about how you're going to lead your organizations forward, and you think about the competency and capability and learning needs of yourselves and your teams. I'm curious to see where people see themselves. And I was trying to think, like, where can people be in this journey? Because some of you are way down the journey, right? But I'm sure some of us might be before this, but some people are maybe trying to create general awareness and competency around what's available today. Some maybe thinking about not so much about deploying AI, but building the structure and the capability to actually be able to take advantage of it. You have to be at a certain level of probably of data and digital maturity to actually activate around some of these things. Some of you may be already using some of those, the best practices that that we heard about to address common use cases in your own company. And some of you may be well down the path of trying to think through where does AI take us in 5 years, and how can we be prepared to deploy AI as a competitive differentiator in our organization, right? And I don't know where else we could be. So that's kind of the wrap up to say, what we're kind of curious to hear from you about is, how do you see the needs of your organization going forward in terms of what they need to learn and understand? If you had to take a step forward to educate and grow your organization, where are you in the journey? What's the starting point for the conversation? Here, thank you.
For us, we have like an internal co-pilot or whatever it's called that we use or are allowed to use. And I think like the first step that we really got, Eastman
co-pilot.
So the first step that we really took was to just have it available to everyone. But I feel like the next step is really thinking about what does this mean for each of the functions? So what does this mean for marketing? How can we use it? What does it mean for Marcom? Can we use it externally? How do we use it externally? And then for everyone else.
What's the tool behind the Eastman Copilot? Is it the Chat GPT, or is it?
My understanding is based off of Microsoft's Copilot. It's just within stuff.
Yeah.
It's like orders.
Closed.
Yeah, closed.
What can you do with these?
I normally ask it standard questions, like if I'm doing a presentation on like marketing cloud with Salesforce, explaining it to someone else, it's like, what is marketing cloud? What does this mean in terms of the cloud of Salesforce? And like simple things that you don't get very well on Salesforce's website, but I can get it easily answered. Or just like, I'm doing this presentation on this, can you help me to build how this would look, or what structure I should have, or as someone who is fairly early in my career, I will use it sometimes to like help level set my skills that I get developed based on my time and career. So very base level of I have email I want to write, I know what I would say from here. Not what I would say to someone who's looking at this. These the co-pilot, I am talking to someone who manages this type of, I want to get across this message in this type of way. I want them to respond. How should I address them? Are there any thought-provoking questions around that? We should start.
So is this something that's available to everybody in Eastman? Now, do you have a learning plan or some type of development plan to help people learn about different applications of AI and then help them move forward in that journey?
Not right now. What I understand of with IT is to do a release, a broad release, like the full bit, see how people use it, and start doing some training on standards.
So you created a sort of a safe sandbox, right? So I assume that that's set up so that they can't do anything.
Yeah, it's an open AI model, so it only exists with these servers, and based on what it just told me to say.
So it's OpenAI to take ChatGPT, but it's in an instance, it's brought that instance into within your firewall or whatever, your servers, and the outside world can't access it.
Unlike other models, it doesn't save conversations. So once you X out of the brain, at least on my side, it's like I can't pull up all the questions or the responses unless I've saved them in one person. And we were still giving guidance to not put it in criteria. Anyway,
Just in case.
So in that context, am I being asked if the Eastman co-pilot tool then does it have access to all the intranet kind of databases?
It is not pretend to be designed to Salesforce.
You can't use it to do like research on your customers.
Not with the broad one that they've introduced as of right now. Or just there will be options or they will allow that.
So it's, to be clear, it's scouring the external world, but not your internal databases.
Yes.
Does it have the capacity of finance to take like I downloaded all this stuff off of my ERP or CRM. Can you synthesize this data for me and find insights?
Although it says don't put anything confidential.
Right, so that's probably a violation.
I want you to become a record.
It's not really direct processor.
How about other people? What do you see as some of your key learning needs for your organization in terms of the adoption of this technology? Where are other people? Yeah.
So I might not specifically answer the question, but I think I saw something today about, or maybe it was yesterday, about like what's the manual process. So do it by hand first, right? Before you start automating things. And when I think of how much data we could get from the marketing side of the business, how that could overnight change the expectation of operations, whether it's what they're producing, how they're producing it, availability, you name it. And so I feel like, that's way, but I don't know that we have that flow set up to even that well to them. We have it, but it's a little bit clunky and it's a little bit reactive. And so I feel like before we even get to some of this stuff from a marketing standpoint, we need to figure out where we even go. We could do a great job using these tools, but if the rest of the organization is not on board or not able to move as quickly to the changing landscape and the changing data, we're going to hit that.
Right, so they would have to have a corollary to what you can learn about changes in customers in order to make split seconds, faster decision.
Yeah. Just piping those manual processes so that we know, hey, if we learn this from customer insight, drive action.
So to take full advantage of the potential of this, even the limited state potential, short term, there's some work that has to be done internally for you to even prepare to act on it.
Yeah. It would be like if we're Formula One drivers, even if we're behind the wheel of the key, that's not going to be much more effective. Just because we have a Formula One potential.
Yeah, or you reflect on the case studies that were shared earlier today with like mattress firms seeing a tremendous amount of increased traffic. It probably amounted to more revenue. Were they able to capitalize on that added demand? Or was it like just,
overcommitments on their behalf.
Marketing's done a great job, lead times are 20 years.
That's correct. Exactly.
I mean, the one that Richard said something today, and I wasn't sure how to, I didn't get to ask him before he left, but one shot to take it, which was, can generative AI, or can any form of AI and machine learning, can it overcome the technical deficit in data structures that exist in so many companies? Right? Because that's what I can name 5 companies that we work right now who are working internally to be in a better position to be able to do this by having access to the data that you need in order to understand, the connection between customer decisions, and operational decisions, and all. And I almost thought I heard him say that you might be able to overcome some of that with the, you don't have to have it all set up like perfectly, but I mean, I'd like to believe it because it's such a huge barrier, right? When it comes like 3 years, we'll be able to do something.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah, he said, you don't need a data scientist. It's a domain problem, but I was also unclear, like, how I solve that domain problem.
You just shifted the problem.
Yeah.
You can call it whatever you want, but it's still a problem.
I think I heard, as Chris yesterday morning was saying, that since they're language models, I guess they're best to translate all data into language anyways, to like the English. So it doesn't really matter what type of data. You tell that to convert to common English language, then it can read it. So it sounds like there is a path.
Yeah. I'd like to know. Someone smarter than me.
I have a comment.
Yeah.
I'm thinking too about the type of talent we'll need next, right? Because we were talking to us at dinner last night, like, there's all these parents sending their kids to coding camps, right? Like, it's all about coding. And now I'm like, oh, so now you don't need to be a coder, anyone can do it, right? So like, so what's next? Like, this is going to happen, right? So I guess, I would like to know, once we get past this, what's going to be the next talent need that we
I'm
have.
so happy I skipped all those urges maybe to learn basic coding.
Yeah, me too.
I was gonna do it like 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Exactly. So that's a good, so understanding something that people could benefit from is trying to anticipate the types of skill sets and competence you would need to take advantage of this. Because that's certainly something that you could assess in your organization today, do we have those skills, right? So what would a fully AI ready marketing department look like from the capabilities?
That's right.
That'd be it. So that's a very, did you hear that, Rand? That would be it. Like, what does the AI ready marketing department, what are the competencies and skills they need, right? Because that you could do. Other people, what else? Where are you in the learning journey? I've seen a couple who are like,
yes,
Box one.
Box one.
I mean, and it's as much for us as, like, I don't even know what people are doing. I guess it's something they're using it, right?
Someone.
I don't know what they're doing.
People probably understand. That's what I learned this.
I think the first step is just like the daily tasks you do that require mind share, that don't enjoy doing. Like, I don't want to log on, so I'll just use AI. Copy, I don't want to send this long email.
I need her number. I need to. I need to learn from her.
It's just like, just take stuff. I don't know, if I have things that take a long time that have low value add to my actual role. Or things that I try to do.
Really jobs do that.
Right now, what? I'll keep you.
All right. What else? I mean, so this is my own personal thing. Like, it's fun to hear about like these big, transformative projects, people doing everything. But I'd love to hear stories about, okay, this company had this specific problem. Company, maybe not Coca-Cola or Adidas, and sort of the application of currently available tools, the problem. What were some of the issues they had to think through? How did they overcome security issues, that sort of thing, to get to a really interesting outcome in a B2B context. I was thinking I'd love to hear some more examples like that. Like the Cogno one was pretty, I'd love to have heard that story, right? That's not a huge company, 12,000 customer records worldwide. They had a very specific solution they were trying to deploy, right? Because there are tools, like you said, you want to get onto it. Right? There are tools you could use, but I think, figuring out, what are the questions you need to ask around some of these issues would be helpful. So maybe some case studies that are like,
how they did it, might be helpful, that stuff, right? Other people, where are you in your learning journey, or what do you think your team needs to move forward and take advantage of this new technology? Thomas, anything?
Nothing more than that. We're in infancy. We've got the pocket. It's well past that, but so
yeah.
What about boilerplate governance for companies to start with?
The issue of governance around these tools.
Yeah, and I realize every company needs to kind of make it their own, but rather than starting from zero, is there some sort of?
I'm over my note taker that was over there when you heard that, so, because it's probably something to be organized, like the approach to governance around this, okay? All right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I don't know, I'm a little bit worried about asking chat GPT for advice on how to use itself. That's like asking your kids, like, what time do you think you should go to bed? Oh, I don't know, 1 AM sounds good to me.
It's all about how you frame the problem.
99% of 15-year-olds says that 12 PM is too early.
Kind of the basis of like what's easier to edit, like or.
Right.
Yeah, if you start from somewhere, if you ask the ChatGPT, it may only give you a 30% product, that's 30%.
Right. Okay. Anybody else, anything else to add or suggest? Certainly ISBM and this, Jerry, please.
Quick curiosity. Several people have brought up the concept of a prompt engineer. Is that what they call them?
Yes.
It was someone who would be an expert at prompting AI systems. And I'm thinking, how would you teach that? How would you train that? What would be the curriculum? And I flash back to when data analytics got started, and they were asking the same question. How do you, it's not just a good statistician. How do you train a great data analytics person? It's very hard.
So a great prompt.
Yeah, great prompt engineer.
Prompt engineer. Well, then also, I think there's your one answer to your governance, is instead of giving people access, you have the chat GPT has to be honest. And you train somebody to protect the
I was gonna say in my career, because when I started learning value proposition, I had for ... to ... needs ... I had set categories. That's how I learned to write value proposition. For data engineering, for AI engineering, Chris actually talked about it. It's a symbol of like, what is the role that you want AI to what actually you want to do, what context to give it, and then how do you text it. So you are a marketing professional. You have been in your role for 10 years and you're well versed in B2B marketing. You come across this problem and you need to solve it this type of way.
All right.
Yeah, that was a good framework he gave for how to be a good prompt engineer.
Prompting, I like that. All right, so I think we've gone on long enough, so turn it back to you.
Okay. Great.
Thank you, everybody.
Great discussion, Ralph. Thanks for leading that. All right, so we're going to.
Now I'm going to call myself an AI expert.
We're going to talk about a new offering from ISBM. We need your feedback to see if this is something that would be of interest to your organizations. Let me give you a little bit of background about it. It's called Propolis. The front page of it, and I'm going to dive into this with a demo, but the front page of the Propolis site is organized in this fashion. So there's a lot of functionality to it. It's designed for B2B marketers. It's an opportunity that's come to us from an entity. It's not an institute, but it's been a long-standing entity in the B2B world. It's called B2B marketing. That's what it's called. Their website is b2bmarketing.net. But they're mainly known, in the past, they were mainly known as the publishers of the magazine, B2B Marketing. They're based in Europe, which, and a lot of their expertise is based in Europe, which could be an interesting synergy with a lot of our global companies that have big European operations as well. They came to us because they recognize that, that ISBM is the leader in expertise in the area of B2B strategic marketing. Okay, so, and we are, that's what we have always focused on. You know, if you want to come to us for a long history, we weren't the originators of digital marketing, you know, operational marketing. But we were the originators of the concept of B2B strategic marketing and many of the best practices. And that's sort of where organically our expertise has grown up in. And they see that. And they, on the other hand, are much stronger in the area of operational marketing, execution marketing, that kind of thing. So it's a lot of their content is deep in those areas. They would like to build out their expertise in their content, and they see us strong in that. They come to us to access what we have and some of our experts, like our fellows. So what we're considering with them is, if we do that, can we provide access to their platform Propolis for our members to some degree? And they're shifting their whole strategy is shifting towards Propolis. So that's where all of their effort is going, is building up this community for B2B marketers. So we really need some good insight from you all as to whether or not this is something that could be of value to the membership. I'm going to show you the current state of it, and also talk a little bit about what it could be if we participate with them in some way. So it's a portal that has a lot of content, a lot of tools and frameworks and presentations, sort of like our B2B Pulse does, but as you'll see, it's a lot better put together than what B2B Pulse is. They have a lot of expertise. They do have a lot of expertise. I would say their expertise is more Europe-based experts, which is great because we don't have a lot of European-based experts. And we often get, you know, a lot of you are global companies, and you need that as well. And their expertise is stronger in operational marketing. They do have strategic marketing experts too, but we would definitely complement them with our strategic marketing expertise in B2B solutions. So here's just some of their Propolis experts. It's likely that you may not know any of these people. The world's big. The world of B2B is big. They're mostly centered in Europe. And probably a lot of their community wouldn't know our ISBM fellows either. But in the future, it's possible that some of our ISBM fellows and practice fellows would be a part of their expert network. They have things like we have. Let's just go through a few of them. Call an expert, where a Propolis member, like let's say that we go forth and John has a Propolis account and he wants to dial an expert and ask a question or have a conversation or something like that. We have the same thing. It's called our concierge service. It's not automated. It's called Rand, Lind, or Lori, and we hook you up. In 22 and 23, we've done it 59 times. So it is a very used and valuable service based on the usage. But here it's done online. And by the way, let me say that if we do this, we're not going to get rid of what we have either. This is not, we're not shifting, we're not merging, we're not moving over to Propolis. This would just be one more tool, one more benefit that ISBM members would have access to. They have things like power hours where you actually engage an expert bring your team together and engage your expert on a topic. We've done some of those. I set one up with Dr. Cooper and the DuPont team this summer. The DuPont team got 5 or 6 people together. They spent about almost 2 hours. It was only supposed to be 1 hour, but it ended up being 2 hours, and they picked Bob's brain. And most of our, in fact, all of our fellows are willing to do that. Mentoring, never thought of that, but that could be a pretty cool offering for people. I know it's evolved sort of just naturally. I know over the years, many of our members have used people like Ralph Oliva as a mentor, and our other experts. I know Liam, Jerry, they've all mentored many of our members. Ralph for sure as well. I've seen that in action. And of course, they do bespoke projects like we do bespoke projects with our members and workshops and things like that.
What are bespoke consulting projects? Bespoke consulting projects.
Well, I sort of it's sort of it's sort of the same thing, isn't it? A consulting project is always bespoke, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, it means that a firm hires that expert to come in and do a consulting project for them. Yeah. Does that make sense? I mean, I'd say by definition, all consulting projects are bespoke. Oh, they also have events, and they're going to have, they'll have an event next year in the U.S. around the Propolis Leaders Forum. My impression of it is it's much like this, a roundtable of members who come in and, live face-to-face thing and learn more about how they can best utilize this tool, Propolis. So we'd be able to participate in that if we wanted to as well. They have a section in there with, they call it technical content and best practice models. We have the same thing, our content of frameworks, tools, and templates and so forth. So they have something similar to that. And they have training in Propolis. So they have some self-guided modular training. It struck me, Gabby, you use ChatGPT to kind of level set so you could send an email to one of the executives, but probably a lot of new marketers who are hearing all these buzzwords and they're learning things as they go, and they know they've been assigned an initiative and they need to get started. Well, there's all kinds of 1 hour self-tutorial modules to kind of give you the groundwork. They're basic, they're on demand. They're free. They're part of the Propolis platform. But I looked at them, and there's a lot of topics in there that I know nothing about. And if it was part of my business that I had to, work on something like that, they would be very useful to me. And then they also have certificate level training, which is just the same things that we do, delivered by their experts or their strategic partners. And that's my red highlight there, because they've come to us under that guise. Could we be a strategic partner of theirs? Okay. They recognize that we have expertise, they don't. So they've asked us, could ISBM be a strategic partner, deliver some training to their members? They have more members than we have. They're different companies. They're really not B2B industrial. They're more, tech and info systems and banking and financial and healthcare and things like that. But they're all B2B. I mean, this is a B2B entity from day one. One example of that is account-based marketing, ABM, which you all know about. Their strategic partner for account-based marketing is a firm called Inflexion. The founder of Inflexion actually founded the original design of an account-based marketing. She was actually part of the original team that founded ABM back in 2003, which I just learned. It was founded back in 2003. So that's a little bit of background on that. Let me pause here before I go into demo. Questions so far?
So, I'm sorry, what's the ask? I mean, is it, like, what does it mean to me?
Yeah, so we're gonna show you guys, the demo of it. And, we just wanna see if you guys think it would be useful. Because if you think it would be, then we'll probably continue discussions with them rapidly to say yes to their request that they access our experts, some of our expert content. And in return for that, they will give our members access to Propolis. And there's still a discussion about what does that mean, given our members access to Propolis. Is it unlimited seats? There is a limited number of seats, and then there could be an fee for more seats. So those are some of the questions I want to get into here.
I mean, I think it would be useful for our European folks because it doesn't all translate to European folks for whatever reason. It's been a challenge over the years. So, I mean, we have access to all your stuff. I'm not sure I can get there. So.
But, okay, so we just had the training one last week.
Yeah.
And you saw the presentation of your PT.
Right.
Did what you see from the US based teams, did you see that translate to all of them? Okay.
So I would say, hold on your hat here for a minute. We'll show you what, I think my initial reaction would be, you have access to our stuff. That's true. Their stuff is different than our stuff. So your universe access to quote stuff will grow significantly. And also the portal for access is different. So it could improve the ability for you to access our stuff through this portal.
Brand,
Other questions?
if you wanted this recorded, just stay to the side. I won't record the screen
Okay,
because I can't share it.
got it. Okay. Other questions so far? No? Yeah, I'm going to go into it now. So I'm gonna, to your question, is that, not that I don't need this. Oh, that was already. Okay, now I'm on their website. And just gonna show you how it's organized. We'll dive in, demonstrate some of the functionality, some of the content. And I'll be interested to see if you think that that this type of a portal could be useful to your teams. Keep in mind that right now it's all of their content. So in the future, if we move forward, it would be their content that you'll see here, plus some of our content as well. You won't see our content on here now, but it could be in the future if we move forward with them. I think I'll just go through each of the main areas of functionality. So let's just take a look at their ask a question. You can see they have all their experts, who they are. You can see they're very UK, but they're headquartered in the UK. So they have, most of their experts are also in the UK. A a few in the United States. I think they have about 10 in the United States. And then scattered, I saw one in Switzerland, India, and so forth. But they have a fairly good number of experts spanning a lot of different areas. They're different experts than ours are. Than our academic fellows are. They're more like our practice fellows. They are, all of their experts that I could tell are founders or members of smaller consulting firms, very similar to our practice fellows. You can go in and ask the expert. One thing that's different than with them versus the way we do it is when you go in and ask an expert, you sort of lay out what your question is, and you have to go in and select the expert, which means you have to go in and sort of read the different experts' profiles and figure out which one might be right. We don't like to do it that way. So I asked them about, because we like to hear what your need is, and then we try to figure out who the right expert is. So you don't have to do all that digging, because our experts are not just the typical fellows that you see here, but there's a lot of other people in our connection network that we can bring in for your particular problem. They said that actually the way that this thing gets used is about half of the people pick an expert, and every member company has a ambassador within B2B marketing that guides them and their memberships and how to use it. And the other half just kind of calls their ambassador up, kind of like calling us up and saying, who can I get to do this for me? They also have an Ask the Community. And that's where you can go in and sort of, obviously, you got to be careful about this because, it's an open to all the membership. But, I look at that and let's just pick one that's been out there for, here's one. Our brand marketer is even thinking about AI Go. It's been out there for about 3 months. So it started, this was put out there by one of the, let's do it for the members.
Hey, random question.
Yeah.
What do you see as any potential downsides of this collaboration?
Oh, that's a good question. Downside?
Yeah, so I'll just give my opinion too, right? So this is the one thing that we know we need to do on our end is have a better platform. This is one.
Yeah.
So this is good for us in saying, oh, look, this is a well-tested, developed platform. We can put our stuff on it. And it costs us like anything. And we get all this other content, which is why we're like, but if this content is useless to you, you know what, maybe we'll just go our own way, right? So it really comes down to, if this was useful, and it's hard for us to say whether it is, because it's you folks we serve, then it's good. They also have on-demand classes and courses.
Yeah, we show that too.
Right? So, and that is a request that you all had of us, which is, can we get some stuff that we can just like deliver whenever, not have to be scheduled? So it's just a short piece of content, maybe a 3-hour, watch a 1-hour presentation, a 3-hour presentation, and get this piece. Again, as Rand describes, it's more execution-based than strategy-based. So we wouldn't have developed that content, and that would be available.
Yeah, I would say, the question puzzles me from your standpoint, because I'm not sure from a member standpoint, I can think of a downside.
Yeah.
But I do
It's
know
going
of
to be on offer, and then it won't be if you don't use it.
I do know of downsides for the fellows.
Yeah.
Now, we've already had meetings with the fellows on this.
They're okay.
And they all say, looks worth pursuing. However, we'd be concerned about protecting our intellectual property, you know, is this giving away our stuff and we're not getting value in return? But from you all's perspective, that's not really your worry.
I think, like, if there's, for the same ISBM membership, we get access to this too, yeah, that's great. Sort through it and over time find where there's value and tap into the program.
There's a cost of providing from our side, because we have to become knowledgeable enough to be able to advise on it. And also do the same thing we've always, like, we're not giving up our concierge service. That is, I think, why we're valuable is we know exactly where we'd send you. And so now we have to know these people too. So again, it's a lift to bring it in. But if you said, oh, that's great, I'd like to have it, okay, now we're all set. We know why we want to do it.
So we were, next year, I'll just give you this also. This was an aside, I was gonna tell you all this later. Next year, our membership fee is gonna go up a little bit. It was 2019 when we last had a membership increase. And we benchmarked, we're still way below other type of things like this. So I don't think it's gonna be anything, it's not gonna be anything absorbent. But we would negotiate with them in turn for access to experts. We would trade a certain number of seats for each member company as part of the membership. And it wouldn't, like Sherwin-Williams, you could probably come up with 300 people if it was, it wouldn't be 300 people. Sure. So, but if you wanted 300 people, you could do that with a nominal extra fee. Yeah. And that's, but you know, getting free seats there's really no downside to that. This is one I participated in, just as an example. This person was looking for they wanted some case histories on a real corporate campaign that was designed to inspire and make a big blowout impression in the market. And this lady came back and gave her several examples to dig into further. GE, IBM. I participated in this because I said we had a couple great ones over the year at my time at DuPont. Other people came in with some of their stuff. So that's sort of the community, you know, a community blog post. And there are probably, if you go through this, there's probably nothing that's proprietary. It's all up there, just talking about advertising campaigns. Let's go to another block here. This connection is a little slow, sorry about that. Okay, let's go to learn and develop. They have a marketing maturity diagnostic, which is sort of a you take it yourself for your team. It gives you some benchmarking. We have that too. It's not very widely used by the members. But we do have it in case anybody's interested. This is where you sign up for the call an expert. I told you about that before. They have this. This is pretty interesting. We haven't done this, but I think it's an interesting concept. We may consider doing it as well. It's called Power Hour, where you want to pull your team together. I mentioned we did it as part of our concierge service with Bob Cooper at DuPont. It's that kind of thing. It's kind of like the speed dating we did on Tuesday with the experts, but instead it's we're going to pull a team together. The expert's going to come in prepared. We're going to have a good discussion, and that's what they call a power hour, where you can do that here with their experts. That's it's not done in this platform, but it's all arranged in the platform. You know, you go in and you request it to set it up. Same with advisory. That's where you can go in and request an expert help with a bespoke project. Here's some of their training courses. If you look at these, I think you might see what I'm talking about, how it's more operationally focused content. You know, it's talking about campaigns and digital marketing, account-based marketing. We consider all those operational marketing as opposed to strategic marketing. Strategic marketing is more determining where you're going to play, how you're going to play, how you're going to win. And now the how you're going to win is your plan. And that's then where you get into operational marketing, is implementing that plan. So they're very strong there. This is where they would like to bring some of us in, is, you could imagine, designing a VOC project or how to conduct a hierarchy of needs for customer segmentation, or, effective Pastel analysis for market analysis, these kind of things. They're hour long, they're pre-recorded, they're on demand.
Rand,
Yeah.
I don't see any downside here, but I can't really absorb it on the screen. I suggest you send us all a link.
We can't give everybody a link to this. Yeah, we can once we go.
Yes.
If we go the next step, we would be able to do that.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, if I spent an hour poking around, I think I'd have a more informed opinion to give.
Yeah, and I think we'll get there if there's interest to move forward, or we will get there if there's interest to move forward.
What is the next step that has to be, the next decision that has to be made toward related to this?
Well, the first decision was whether the fellows could potentially be interested. We got that with you guys this week. The next decision is what I'm trying to get now is a thumbs up or thumbs down for the members. Yeah. And then now we go back and we continue on with the discussions with Propolis to see, okay, how are we going to implement this? What are going to be the ground rules? Which fellows do you want to start with first to start bringing in some expertise? How many seats are we going to negotiate for each of the member companies? How are we going to roll it out? That kind of stuff.
Are you talking specifically about practice fellows? I'm just trying to understand, because we assign our process of the academic side is academic distinguished research fellows, some of which actually are actively involved, right? But others participate not in this way. But one of them, for example, is Ashir, is the director of our doctoral camp at the academic side of things. So people are, I don't know if it's ever really, it's an incredible top scholar. I don't know if it's active in this sphere. So,
yeah.
I mean, did you ask all of them?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good clarification, Stefan. Really, we've asked our most active academic fellows, and frankly, it's been Liam, Bob Cooper, Bob Thomas, the ones who are teaching our courses.
So the only reason I'm asking is there is no requirement for a new fellow to be on that. It's always gonna be your discretion and the fellow's discretion to be on. Okay.
Yeah.
That does not put any constraint on future fellows that we identify.
No, we're not saying fellows have to be a part of this at all. It's their individual decision because they're all independent. Yeah.
Have you watched any of their courses?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, they're, like I said, I mean, I'll play one just so you get an idea. And I'll skip right into the middle of some content, maybe. Let's just pick this one. How to manage a marketing campaign, okay? By the way, if somebody gave me an assignment to design and develop a marketing campaign, I was not a Marcom person. So this would be a good start for me to watch for an hour and I can then dig in further. I thought I was going to fall into this. Sorry about that. Because I have watched these, and this came up the other day, and I couldn't figure out why I was able to do it before and can't do it now.
Down. Here she comes.
Module 1. Let's go back to module 2. This is just the intro. Module 2. Okay, well, I think you get the idea. Okay, there's this lady's talking, she's going over these slides. It's introducing, what is firmographic data? What is behavioral data? So it's what you could get in an hour on this topic. But this is the free stuff. This is the stuff that doesn't cost the user anymore. Now, if you go back and you look at the stuff like we do, that would be more, this is the free stuff. This is the more typical of what we do. Emerging marketing leaders training would be like our track certified series. B2B storytelling, we actually did that training this year. Content marketing, data marketing essentials. If we move forward, we'll probably, we may have, the track series or something very similar to that in there. We may have Bob Cooper's, unlocking pipeline, innovation pipeline gridlock in there. It wouldn't be delivered in there. It's sort of, that's just the registration page, and then it's delivered like we deliver it today. Okay, and of course, then you'd also have access to their courses that they have, things that we don't offer. That was the other thing we see in this, is there's topics that we don't offer that you would then have access to.
Do you have an estimate on the amount of seats that each member?
For no extra fee to them, as part of your ISBM membership, I think it would be limited probably to, I'm going to say somewhere between 5 and 20. Yeah. So
Are
it's
those static memberships, or are they like?
transferable. Yeah. Don't know yet.
Okay, that would be.
And right, and what could you do with that? Could you, pull a group together and so those are some of the stuff we have to work out. We've not really got that far because we don't want to go too far with it. It's, talk about too much until actually after today's meeting.
I think the information that they have on there and the platform is well worth continuing on.
Just one constraint, but we have to learn to speak with a British accent to deliver.
Yes.
Jerry, you should have learned that a long time ago.
You're saying.
Let's hear it, Gary.
Didn't you learn, Jerry, that your consulting fees go up by 20%?
The differential of the pound and the dollar.
Okay, so I think you get the idea. This is a part that I'm kind of excited about because we have so much good content that you guys just simply don't access well. It's in B2B Pulse or it's a phone call to one of us. And this could be a platform for us to be able to make it a lot easier for you to access. These are the areas they have. And as you can see, these are the areas of their focus. We probably fit in the strategy, customer experience, people, teams, and skills. We could definitely fit in there. And maybe even a couple new categories for them that they don't necessarily have strength in. Okay. So what do you think? We're pursuing?
Sweet. Yes.
Yeah.
That was good. Okay. Good.
Okay. Okay, well, we got.
Lynn's excited because she would have to set up a platform otherwise. So was Lori. And Lori's really excited. She has to- Fran has great ideas and then we implement. So it's great.
This would be very difficult for us to do. I mean, these people are content publishers, so it's stuff that they grew up doing, but not us. Lynn could do it, Lori could do it, but. Let's see here. Okay, let's wind down with the last topic here. We killed a little bit of this yesterday. Recap of 2023 was our track series. This has been delivered all year. We're going to wrap it up in a couple of years. We've had the most number of participants this year than we've had last year. Was the most versus the first year, so it's grown each year. We've had 24 graduates after this year's class is done. This is our third year. Okay, 2 of them are in the room, and it's just perfect examples of what it's good for. It's really great professional development within a 1-year period for people with marketing, product managers. And the cool thing about us is you learn from the top academics and practitioners. We are making some improvements for 2024. The first one is Stefan. Stefan, I can't say yet you're an improvement over Dr. Thomas, but I think you're at least the equal. So
I follow Karen Lilliam as the director, and then Ralph Oliva teaching the B2B course in the MBA program. So I'll try. It's all very big.
No, but you've done such a great job. So Stefan's been teaching B2B marketing at Smeal now for 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah, for 4 years. And, he uses the concepts of the ISBM value delivery framework, which is what Bob has used too. And Bob has said he's ready to turn it over to Stefan. And so Stefan will be the spine of the series with fundamentals, or insight, strategy, and plan. And then we have the deep dives by Liam, Jerry Katz, and Ralph. The other thing we're going to do, I'm sure you guys can speak to this, our system of sending out emails with links and documents, and is not very user friendly, right? It's confusing, and so we're gonna. Lori's got the idea for a new portal where all that can go in. You just have a portal you go to, the schedule's there, the links are there, all that stuff. So that's going to be new for 24. And then just because of the nature of the schedule, we often have people who had to miss an important module. They're all important, so they had to miss a module, and they need to make it up. So rather than ask for, Liam to spend 3 hours with 2 people in a makeup session, we're going to have Liam record a makeup module. So it'll be a content review. It won't take 3 hours because you don't have to sit there. You don't have the breakout periods and all that stuff. But it'll catch you up to speed on the content, so that you can hit the next module in stride with the rest of the class. The other thing is we've got our advanced mastery track series. Some of these courses we've been offering, but there were a few new ones on here. Okay, need your feedback on the forums that I passed out. Let's see. On the forum, I added a second one because I had this one yesterday, but I got a few people saying they also wanted Cooper's Agile and Leaning of Innovation Process course. So that's on the forum. But 2 of them from Cooper. One is this traditional unlocking pipeline gridlock. We've already got enough expressions of interest for that course that that's going to go off in January, either late January or February. We're working on the final date for that. Okay.
Can you say more on that one? Is that ideation, or is it you already have the ideas and that's how you get through the pipeline faster?
Yeah, it's how do you manage your already existing innovation pipeline. through effective management of the stage gate, effective decision-making, portfolio optimization, balance of innovation projects, that kind of stuff. Okay, it's not the ideation phase. And then his other course is more advanced stage gate management, and it's about how to lean your stage gate, lean it up, and using agile techniques and other things. So, to rapidly increase cycle time. Ralph Cummins will be offering Ralph is an expert in all the topics of B2B strategic marketing, deep expertise in several of them, one of which is customer experience strategy, and really using that to drive differentiated value for competitive advantage. So he's taught this before for us. He does a lot of independent bespoke consulting projects on this topic. So we want to bring this as an open offering. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, a lot of times, well, for every open course topic that we put out there, we probably get 2 or 3 bespoke inside your firm projects. So all these are available for your firm. And, like Tom's already asked me about Cooper's just for Sherwin. You did it last year. I think you did it 3 years ago too. And we'll probably do it again in the early part of next year. Joanne Smith, value pricing and applied best practices. We do a lot of her workshops customized for you all, but she also does this open. And so we've done it once before in the past. It's been a few years. We're putting it back on the calendar this year. Ralph, modern marketing best practices for leaders. These are some of the more advanced modern marketing techniques for experienced marketers and marketing leaders who are trying to put together really effective plans to execute their marketing strategies. Ralph, did you want to say anything extra about that?
I mean, it's kind of taking not a future look at business at marketing, but really looking at what fully realized modern marketing organizations look at. What would be the best practices and skill sets? What would be a little bit like earlier? What would be some of the people that you might want to have, right? That really address this. And the other thing it would do is look at the connection between strategic marketing and operational marketing, which is getting harder and harder to keep those two things separate, right? So, and it brings in some of the practices we don't typically think of as strategic marketing, like content strategy. We're not going to talk about strategic marketing, not talk about content or marketing strategy.
And then we have 2 courses on AI. One will be for content marketing, because that's one of the most effective and immediate use cases for artificial intelligence in B2B marketing is using it for effective content marketing campaigns. And then the second one, Chris is advising me, is that the area of between sales and marketing support for sales is really a super rich area that companies are using for AI to enable their sales organization. So it's how do you enable the sales organization, and how does sales organization use AI, and what is marketing's role in that? So this would be a great one to have sort of a couple people from a firm attend, sales and marketing oriented. Yeah, Karen?
Is this already on the website, or is this going to?
No, these are all going to be shortly after the meeting. But like I said, any interest internally, let me know. I've already gotten several inquiries for more from Chris Penn. Advanced LinkedIn for B2B, this will be our 3rd year. We've done that. We did a custom one for Eastman. Yeah, and this is really one not just for marketers. This is really for everybody's got a LinkedIn account, technical, business leaders, et cetera. It's about building how to build your personal brand on LinkedIn effectively, how to build your product/business brand on LinkedIn, and then how to use the two of them synergistically to drive demand gen and brand or product awareness. And there's a ton that you'd be amazed that you don't know about that you get taught in this course.
I've sat through 2 of the 3 and the stuff changed from the first time you taught it to the third time even. So just the different things that happen with LinkedIn and the metrics that were changing on it.
Yeah, Richard lives for LinkedIn and
He's also a very interesting person to follow.
yeah, I would imagine, yeah. And then I mentioned Inflexion before. They were one of the early founders of the concept of ABM. We've gotten requests in the past about ABM training. So if there's interest, we're going to partner with Inflexion to deliver some account-based marketing training. Account-based marketing is it's a combination of technology, marketing technology, and marketing application. Direct marketing, customized one-on-one marketing, but there's a lot of technology involved in it as well, and that's what they do. They don't sell the technology, but they teach you how to use it and what the options are out there. The way we're going to run this, and this is the last that I'm done. The way we're going to operate these courses is it's on-demand scheduling. So this is going to go out on the website. Where there's going to be something indicating if you're interested in this course, please, sign up here. Once we get 5 people interested in the course, we will contact all 5 of you and work out the right schedule. And then that schedule will be set, and we'll continue to add more people to the course. Okay. We'll probably also, as I said, there will probably also ask if there's a preference for virtual or face-to-face. To maybe it'll depend on where these 5 people are located and so forth and so on. So we're gonna, this is not new. It's used quite a bit by other firms that do sort of what we do. This will be the first time we've tried this. What we've done in the past is we've thrown courses up there, and once in a while we had to schedule them or we had to cancel a scheduled course because we didn't get enough signups. This is a way to avoid having to do that.
Are these 1-hour courses, 4-hour courses, 2-day courses?
These are all
to be determined.
No, these are all either, they're at least 1 day. Okay. I'm not quite sure about this one, if it's how many days it'll be. This is 3 2-hour sessions. So that's a cool thing about this. It's very easy to consume, 3 2-hour sessions over a few days. These are both 1 day. This is equivalent 2-day, probably 2-day, Ralph.
It could be, keep it to the day, I would.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'd be practical.
This is about 1.5 to 2 days, and same with that. Okay.
3 virtual sessions.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Okay, we got, let's see, did everybody fill out their forms? There's a big pile of, a big stack over here where you all hand them in.
I only one office.
Check one, check with somebody that was already.
Yeah, no, that's why we do this. And this is frankly, sorry, out here, this is a small sampling of the membership, but I'll be able to reach out to everybody and get some more information. As I said, there was a few things I wanted to close with from my standpoint, then Lynn, Lynn.
She'll be.
Okay. We are, we're doing well as an institute. We got more members. I've got more in the pipeline coming. It's that time of year where everybody's doing their planning for next year, planning and budgeting and all that kind of stuff. We had a few prospects here today, this week, on both here and on the call. So we're pretty optimistic. We're very optimistic moving forward. I think you see that the strength of the Institute is very good. I think this was a great conference from my perspective. A lot of stickiness in the attendance. Everybody was hanging in there till the end. I appreciate that. Appreciate Megan and Ingredient for being such a gracious host. It makes it so much better than, finding the Marriott Conference Center in Atlanta or something and having a conference, when we can do it at our members' locations. And I got a few more in the pipeline for the future. So we'll keep doing that. Although next year we will have the members' conference, at least one. We'll have one members' conference next year at Penn State. So think about that. Think about your teams, whether or not you might want to bring them in for a day before or a day after to have a team bonding meeting or a planning meeting or a strategy meeting in conjunction with the day and a half together for ISBM.
Do you know what the topic's going to be?
We don't know the theme yet, but it's going to be, as we said before, it's going to be integrated. We're going to figure out a really cool way that we can, leverage and integrate between the academics and the practitioners. Now, probably not all the whole time, but there will be definitely overlap because there's so much value in doing it, right? For us and for them. I will be sending out renewal notices soon. Last year, well, actually every year, some companies want to pay their next year's renewal this year. Yeah, and because they got extra budget money they got to spend, they don't want to lose it. I know how that game works. But if there's a concern or an issue, let me know. I mean, I'm not asking you to pay this year, just giving the opportunity, or due date will be on the invoice. There will be a nominal increase for next year. It's been a while since we've done that. We held the line for a while. We thought everything going virtual would, sort of keep our costs down, but it really didn't happen that way for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Maybe AI can tell you.
Part of it was because, and this is no knock on, this is just the way it was. We've had to pay our fellows more because of all the makeup sessions that we've had to do. And that cost us some, past, pre-COVID, you didn't have that problem. So our costs but we've been able to manage it. We've been able to fund the academic side of the Institute. And we've also brought on a lot of new stuff. So the blog series that Lynn publishes every Tuesday, that's been a major effort. The town halls and jam sessions, we didn't do as many this year as we've done in the past. This year we did more webinars than we've done in the past. So we've also added a lot of things into the membership, which you guys encourage your teams to participate. I think there are some member companies who do a great job of that, and we get broad participation. And then others that we still got to work on and get broad, more penetrated into their company. Let's see. I think that's about it. Anything from y'all's perspective? Thanks for your feedback on the. I sent you an email about feedback for the overall event, so we can continue to improve.
Yeah, I'll echo one of the statements that are good. The next meeting, that there is some more hands-on practical application of whatever it's about, that would be helpful.
I thought Laura's suggestion was right on. That would have been cool. Yeah.
I could even still hang out with this.
Yeah.
So you would just.
Yeah.
I get it, Yeah.
Just on Chris, look a bunch of different laws that he uses.
Yeah. We can still do that, try to do it. We can still, I have a feeling AI is gonna be, this transformation is gonna be with us next year too, so, you know, I think that's a great suggestion.
That would be a great, I mean, even if there's something in between, go into later fall, early spring or something like that. Whatever. Next year or something like that, have something where there's actually a day or half day type of, these are some of your basics of how you start using this, that would be something.
Well, one of the recent themes we did was the post-COVID transformation of B2B marketing and sales, because driven by, you know, what we predicted would happen coming out of COVID. We did that in conjunction with the Sales Excellence Institute. And now today we did the theme of AI. It might be interesting next year to do, okay, so what happened? What has truly emerged out of the post-COVID practices? And things have changed a lot. For us, they have. I know for you guys, they have too. What's really stuck and how's it going? And what's really happening with AI and how's it going? That could be interesting. All right.
Just a comment, thanks to you guys, Stefan, Rand, Maureen, for holding this place together through a couple of tough years. It's been a great job, and I feel like we've emerged pretty strong.
Yeah, thank you. Does Lynn, should we wait for her, or do you want to?